Oh, it caught me by surprise. And it wasn't quite ready. You can edit things later, right?
Yeah.
You can edit.
The thing is that if I want to whisper to you, you will not hear. Like if I want to say, "Are you ready?" I have to shout.
It's wonderful to be back at Tushita with a lot of old friends, young friends, rather, I should say. I don't have any old friends here. We'll start with some quiet and some motivation, and then we'll see how it goes. It's a very vast topic we've chosen for today. So we'll make some tentative steps towards perhaps understanding or getting a feel for some of it. And then we'll have plenty of discussion, I hope. That would be worthwhile, I think. Yeah. Okay, so be comfortable. Upright is good. Whether you're in the back row or the front row, be comfortable. We create a lot of suffering, at least I create a lot of suffering for myself by being stressed out and uptight. So when we sit like this, there's a chance to be still, to be somewhat relaxed, but also to be attentive, to be vigilant. So those three qualities are very useful, being still, being relaxed, but very attentive and awake, you could say, aware. Yeah. And we sit with our back upright. And there's some people who have heard this, what I'm going to say, so many times, but it's, I think, useful to hear again and again. Same as it's useful to brush our teeth again and again. So we keep the back upright because it reminds us that we're a human being and we can be upright and dignified and have a healthy sense of self-confidence, which can come from sitting in this kind of posture. Healthy self-confidence is very important for ourselves and for others as well, for reasons that will become clear, I hope, during the course of this evening. And as we sit like this, front of the body is naturally open, exposed, we should say. So we're not afraid to be exposed, to be there for the world, to be there for others. We're not trying to hide. Often we hide in all kinds of ways. So at least in this posture, we're making an effort to be open and there, present for others, to communicate with others. So this is a wonderful posture. There's that sense of stability and strength and healthy self-confidence, together with the gentleness and tenderness which is associated with the front of the body and the heart. So we're not afraid of opening and having our heart exposed to others in some way. We're not going to keep on having a very thick skin or a suit of armor to protect us, protect ourselves from the world. So the posture is a combination of strength and gentleness. So please get a sense of being stable and grounded on your cushion or chair. Feel the contact, in fact, of your body with the cushion or chair, the contact of your feet with the ground. Feel that, meaning sense that, the actual sensation of it. And then as it extends to the rest of your body, the uprightness, the openness in the front. One might say that if one really, and its meaning, then one wouldn't have to talk so much about the topic today. The posture kind of speaks for itself. And we can bring our attention to the breath. That ever-present friend, one could say. Pretty much the only thing that stays with us from birth until death without letting us go is the breath. So gently become aware of, again, the sensation of breathing, not the idea of it, the sensation, either between upper lip and nostril, or, if you prefer, the rise and fall of your abdomen as you breathe in and out. And let there be a sense of really relaxing and letting go, releasing with the out breath. Just let go. All of your cares and worries and the sense of being uptight and anxious, just let it go for now. Breathe it out with your out breath. And perhaps one could say to oneself, I'm going to spend the next hour or so, as I am right now, making friends with myself so that I can really make friends with the world, with others, with other beings. In fact, I can make friends with the environment rather than fighting with it or destroying it. And above all, think I'm going to slow down for an hour or so and pay attention to myself and to others. I'm going to give myself a break, all of us together. There are several things that are traditionally taught in the beginning, and they're very useful as part of the motivation. One is that all of us so far here tonight, we're alive, still breathing. So we still have this opportunity as human beings to investigate and generate something meaningful in this time we have on the planet with others. We didn't die yet. As one day we will, and so many of our loved ones already have. But we're still here, so we can rejoice. We have created the causes to investigate and be here together in a world which, in many ways, one could say is pretty insane, pretty driven by all kinds of forces that seem to be acting in a very destructive manner, not healthy for humans, animals, trees and grass and water and air and soil and so forth. So we're lucky that we are in this situation, at least temporarily. We don't know for how long. So a sense of gratitude for that. And since one of our topics for tonight is generosity, we can also now think about one of the foundations, perhaps, of generosity, which is to remember the kindness of others, the extraordinary kindness of others, actually, for the gift of this body, all these circumstances we have, the education, the clothes, the food, the houses, the transport, everything, the advice we get from others, even the difficulties we encounter with others, that can be helpful for us. So incredible, unbelievable kindness of others. And our teachers, of course, and the tradition reminds us that this has not just been going on in this life, not just for 20, 30, 60, 70 years or whatever. It's been going on life after life and will continue in the future. The generosity, the kindness of others is unfathomable. Spend a moment reflecting on that, how unbelievably we have benefited from others, other people, other animals, insects, everything. The sacrifice made on our behalf by, especially very often, the parents, but it could be anyone. Or maybe we had a teacher at school or later who really inspired us and who helped us regain some confidence in ourselves and in the human situation, in our possibilities. The kindness of such people, showing us such wonderful examples of how to be what shall I say, a true human being. So all of this kindness, it's so remarkable, actually. And often we forget about it, right? In our ambitious little bubble that we create for ourselves, which is often preoccupied with me, I, me, mine. It's very good to remember contribution of others to one's own happiness, to our very existence. How kind they are. How kind the people who set up Tushita in the late 1970s as a place for people to congregate, investigate, and so forth. How kind they were. In very often difficult circumstances, creating the conditions for a center. And all the people who worked in this center until the present day, working hard, giving their time and energy to create a space for others. How wonderful. Think over the years how many people have found some peace, some solace, some retreat and refuge here at Tushita. Think how wonderful that is. Rejoice in the efforts of the dozens, scores, hundreds of people who have helped Tushita since 1979. Making it possible for us to sit here today. Think of His Holiness the Dalai Lama debating whether to leave Lhasa or not in March 1959. Yesterday was an anniversary, right? what, 1959, to matlab 41 plus 25, yeah. That anniversary of the Tibetan uprising, which brought His Holiness over the Himalayas into India and starting what would become a sort of a Buddhist cultural renaissance. Again, through whose kindness we are here today. Our teachers, all students, disciples of His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. So his tremendous kindness, the kindness of some very, very special people brought up in the Tibetan tradition, which stems from the Nalanda tradition, as His Holiness reminds us. So actually, if we go on, there are just too many people to think about who have been kind, starting at least in this era with Shakyamuni Buddha, 2,500 years ago, who it is said sacrificed his life, his limbs, his possessions, thousands of lifetimes before he attained awakening under the Bodhi tree in Bodhgaya. When His Holiness speaks of Shakyamuni Buddha and his previous lives, often he would weep, remembering the kindness of Lord Buddha. So self-confidence, yes. Openness towards others, yes. Remembering their kindness, so important. And then finally, as this kind of preliminary motivation come reflection, we can rejoice in our own goodness. This is also a very important foundation for generosity, to overcome the poverty mentality we often have of not being good enough. So remember how good you are. Remember how much goodness you have actually generated in your life. You may not remember much of it, but all of us have had moments when we have had that openness, sense of kindness and goodness, care for others, or for even an animal or a plant, a sense of warmth, a sense of openness, spaciousness, intelligence. We've all had that, so rejoice in that. Rejoice in our basic goodness, not in our basic badness. We're not basically bad. Not according to Lord Buddha, anyway. Rejoice in that. Rejoice in some maybe seemingly small actions we have engaged in the last few days, which have been of some benefit for others, through our speech or through our thoughts, through our actions of the body. And remembering that, think how wonderful it is, how wonderful it is. Rejoice in your goodness. And we especially can, some of us remember the kindness of Lama Yeshe and Lama Thupten Zopa Rinpoche, who started this organization, and especially Rinpoche's kindness in the last 20, 25 years, guiding us. Passed away a couple of years ago, and we are praying that he may return in order to guide us again. But in the meantime, we have to be kind of grown up about it and realize that we have the guru, the inner guru, within us. Yeah, we have that intelligence, that spaciousness, that warmth of kindness within ourselves. The Guru is there to remind us of that and to help us connect with it thoroughly and lastingly. But we need such people to guide us, remind us again and again. So of course we could spend the whole of the session simply in an analytical contemplation like this, and that would actually be very useful. Because everything that needs to be said has been said before many times. And in order to inspire ourselves, the tradition has always said what works for people is to listen, reflect, and meditate. Listen to some teaching, study, think about them a little bit, discuss them, and then meditate, reflect, analyze. That's what His Holiness said once, and probably many times. This was at, I think, an interfaith meeting in France, probably in the 80s or 90s. It's in a book called Beyond Dogma. You can find it in the library, I'm sure. So in that, His Holiness says what he feels is the most important, one of the most important facets of Mahayana Buddhism is the emphasis on analytical meditation, where we can transform our minds through thinking in the right way, contemplating in the right way, in a positive way, wholesome way, intelligent way, rather than wasting our minds with the tsunami of useless, anxious, distorted thinking that we often engage in, which merely makes us upset and angry and so forth. So analytical, analyzing in the best way. And of course, together with that, resting the mind with calming breath awareness. And for those who can do with the more spacious practices that are there in the tradition. Wonderful. Everything has changed at Tushita, from the kitchen to the gong. Lovely sound. पहले खड़ खड़, अब थोड़ा आवाज ठीक है इसका. Beautiful. Did you get a new one? Or?
She got the bowl.
Huh?
She got the bowl and the stick. Actually, somebody in Majnukatila gave us.
This Ocha.
Said, oh, you have a.
Very simple, you know. I mean, no inscriptions. No, it's wonderful. I feel very, yeah. I'll try not to take it back to Bodhgaya with me. No. Thank you. So, thank you everybody online. So kind, all of you, to be there. I don't know most of you, and thank you, those from Russia or with Russian names and all kinds of names. People who have hidden their faces. Lavanya, thank you, Lavanya, who's helping us with material for our school in Bodhgaya, with the Jataka stories, which we hope to adapt for the children to use for drama and so forth. It's something Lama Zopa Rinpoche emphasized we should do to dramatize positive qualities. And even to, he said, last time I translated for Rinpoche at the school, 5 or 6 years ago, he said, you must use drama to investigate and show up the ego, the egotistic, self-grasping ignorance. You have to figure that out, how to do that with drama, with the children. Work on the self-grasping, I, me, mine, grasping at that, which of course is the root, we say, of our cyclic existence. So Rinpoche wanted us to work on that. So anyway, seeing Lavanya ji here reminded me of that, and there's all sorts of other good friends, Ayesha, who may be the Ayesha who was here during the COVID period, and very generous. All of you, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for being here, and thank you everyone here at Tushita. Nice to see you all. Thanks for staying awake, and there are refreshments at the back if you get bored and need something. Yeah, thank you all. So really, I'm not a scholar, and I'm also not a great meditator by any means, so I don't have really much to say. But I do have some interesting material which we can look at and discuss. And of course, being the age I am, I've lived a life where there's been a few experiences, so there's always something one can say, of course. I want to first quote from one of our great heroes, spiritual heroes, which is Lama Tsongkhapa. There's a Lama Tsongkhapa here and a Lama Tsongkhapa there. He lived at the end of the 14th and early 15th century, and he's the founder of our Yellow Hat School. That's why you'll see a few yellow hats around. Lal topi wale hote hain, peele wale hote hain. All of this is there. So he was somebody who brought together a lot of the teachings into a style called Lamrim, or stages of the path, because the teachings of the Buddha are very vast, hundreds of volumes. So in the stages of the path teachings, the path is put together in a graded way. It was started by the great Indian master Atisha, who was ordained in Bodhgaya in the year, I think, 1000. Or it could have been 1100, I'm not sure. But I think maybe 1000. And then he went to Tibet. So he started this tradition. So I'm reading the verse on generosity from one of the shorter stages of the path texts by the great Lama Tsongkhapa, who started the Gelugpa, or Yellow Hat School of Tibetan Buddhism. This is a short text of 5 or 6 pages. And in this, he is encouraging, trying to inspire his disciples to practice. So he's talking now about, he's got to the section in this text where he's talking about how to devote one's life to others, okay? How to serve others, how to create this extraordinary mind of great compassion called bodhicitta, enlightenment mind, awakening mind, which is said to be the mind that wishes to attain Buddhahood or full awakening in order to benefit others, in order to lead everybody else to the stage of Buddhahood. So that, of course, we could say so much about that mind. And you should really, those who don't know, should at least study a little bit about that and then receive teachings on bodhicitta, if possible, from His Holiness the Dalai Lama or the great lamas, or Geshe Doje Damdullah, who's in Delhi. You should listen to teachings on bodhicitta. So anyway, it is said that the person who begins to develop that sense of being responsible for others, having reflected on the preciousness of being alive and human, having remembered the kindness of others, having a sense of, a sense of one's potential, then that person begins to feel, well, maybe I could become a Buddha. The problems, the states of mind I have right now, which are problematic, like jealousy, pride, and anger, and lust, and miserliness, they are temporary. And then we read about how that could be the case. We have to study a little bit, but they're temporary. They're not permanent guests. They're not permanent residents in my mind. They're temporary guests. And the state, the pure state, the deep state, if you like, of my mind is purity, is basic goodness. So having got that kind of confidence, and confidence that, others have been so kind to me, one can begin to generate this awareness. Wow, one day, maybe I could also become like Siddhartha, the Buddha. I can at least think about how it would be wonderful to begin to be like that, without the anxiety of always thinking about me and my problems and blah, 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 the things that drive us mad right now. How wonderful to be free of that and to have great happiness and joy in working with others, working for others, you know. So once a person has begun to generate this in these Lamrim tradition, then that person will think, how do I actually help others? What do I have to do to benefit others? Of course, we have to first generate the aspiration, the wish, you know, of course. Aspiration is very important. We have to have the motivation to do that, the courage to be able to even think about that rather than just, you know, the next thing, the next meal or the next bill to be paid or the next problem to sort out, my problem. Rather than that, when we have the confidence, we can think bigger than that. We can include a wider world in our mind. We can begin to think about other people, other animals. We can even begin to think about nature and, you know, the state of the trees in our locality or, you know, whatever. We can do so much. When we begin to really feel, wow, as a human, I have that potential, then, okay, what do I have to do? What do I have to engage in? So the first thing that is taught as a bodhisattva practice or a practice of someone who is aspiring to this mind of responsibility and service towards others, is generosity, yeah, is giving. Okay, so what does Lama Tsongkhapa say about giving? Of course, one is tempted to speak more about bodhicitta, because that is really the foundation of all of this. But anyway, we've chosen generosity and perseverance for this talk. So, jo diya gaya hai, wo bolna padega. Nicola, you speak some Hindi now, right? A little bit. Thoda bolte hain na? Chalo, very good. So, okay, so Tsongkhapa says this: generosity, like a wish-granting gem, fulfills beings' hopes. It is the best weapon to cut the knot of stinginess. That's miserliness, yeah? Best weapon to cut the knot of stinginess. And the Bodhisattva's practice that inspires unfailing courage. On its basis, their sweet renown spans all 10 directions. Matlab, on this basis, the Bodhisattva's sweet renown spans all 10 directions. Knowing this, the wise follow the good path, and they offer their body, their goods, and their virtues, everything without exception. I, a yogi, have practiced in this way. You, who are aspiring to liberation, please do the same. So here, Tsongkhapa in the last two lines is saying, look, I've practiced this. I'm not just talking about this. I've practiced what I'm preaching. I practice like this. You who wish to be liberated, you know, please do the same. Please do likewise. So let's have a look at this very short but wonderful verse in this text, which is called the short in English term for this text is called the lines of experience. It's the brief presentation of the practice of the stages of the path. Okay, he says it's like a wish-granting gem. Wish-granting gem was something in traditional Indian myth, probably Hindu myth as well as Buddhist, is a jewel, a kind of gem. When you have it, it grants all your wishes. It grants all your wishes, you know. So he's saying it's like that kind of gem. Except they also say that the wish-granting gem, maybe it can't grant your wish for enlightenment, but it can give you a lot of basic things. So it can help you really fulfill a lot of the basic needs of others. What are the basic needs of others? They need kindness, they need advice, they need material wealth, they need shelter, they need food, they need all these kind of things just to survive and to have a decent kind of life, yeah? So if you're a wish-fulfilling gem, if you're really like a wish-fulfilling gem, then you could be able to benefit people, or at least wish to benefit people in so many ways. You would not ignore people. You would try to help as much as possible. Even the people who we find annoying, who I find annoying, knocking on the windows of the taxi at the traffic lights, trying to sell pens that don't work very well, or flowers, or roses, or whatever. One would immediately want to be able to help them with everything they need to be happy. Yeah. So it's a wish-granting gem. It's the best weapon to cut the knot of stinginess, of miserliness. This line means something to me. Stinginess, an English word, which is like you feel stingy, you don't feel like giving. You feel you want to protect what you have, right? You feel miserly. You don't want to share what you have. You feel you need to protect it, to keep it for me, because if I don't have it, then what will I have? How can I give to others? What will remain for me, you see? So generosity is the best weapon to cut that heart which is closed and which wants to just look after myself. That kind of deep poverty mentality that I have to take care of myself because in some way, basically, I'm not good enough. I need this. I need more and more to make myself secure, to make myself happy. Forget others. I need to be happy. I need to do this for my happiness. So there's that inability to reach out and feel for others, to feel any kind of empathy, let alone wish to really free them from their misery of poverty or loneliness or whatever it is. So, for example, an example from my life, I still quite fond of chocolate, but I was very fond of chocolate 20, 30 years ago. And I would buy small bars of chocolate at our center in Dharamsala, Tushita Center. They had a little shop in those days, I think. Still have one, maybe. And I would buy chocolate and then put it in my pocket, hide it, so that nobody would see my chocolate when I came out of the shop and walked up to my room. I didn't want anyone to see the chocolate because, if they see it, then oh no, I'm going to have to share this, And my desire for chocolate was so great, and my sense of self-grasping and preservation of me and my happiness was so great that I didn't want anyone to see the chocolate, So I would carefully take it to my room, and so nobody would see. So that's that's a stinginess, that's a miserliness, that's a closing of the heart, that's a closing of one's staying firmly within one's cocoon, one's own bubble, and really not caring for the people outside of that bubble, outside of the cocoon. The cocoon, you understand, no? We create this cocoon with all of our wishes and expectations and hopes for ourselves. So generosity bursts that, it breaks those chains, which are only thinking of oneself, and helps us to cut that knot so that, and then many things can be released when we cut that knot of miserliness. We can begin to open up and share our possessions. What does the Lama say? This, of course, he says, first of all, it inspires courage. One becomes more and more courageous when you open up and you see that, oh, I don't have to hide all the time. I don't have to hide my chocolate all the time. I can share it, perhaps in the beginning, just one or two pieces, and it's not going to be that, difficult or that painful for me. It's not gonna, I'm not gonna starve. So one can begin to develop more and more courage, more and more openness, more and more ability to not just think about oneself. So that can happen. Of course, he speaks about how it can also lead to people becoming very renowned. But of course, a bodhisattva would not just try to be renowned. That's not their main basis of acting in a wonderful way. They don't want to become necessarily famous. Yeah, but by the by, they do become famous as a byproduct, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama is well known because of his great qualities, but it's not like he lives his life in order to become famous. He just wants to benefit others. So knowing this, wise people follow the good path. Then what do? Okay, this is something that comes in many prayers. especially in the later practice of taking and giving. And in that practice, one gives one's body, one's wealth, and all of one's positive qualities. One imagines one is giving these things to others without hesitation. One is giving all these things mentally to others so that it becomes second nature, and so that one can then in the future actually begin to give more and more and more and more to others. Yeah. So goods, it says in this translation, one's body, one's goods or one's wealth, and one's positive energy, one's virtue, one's punya, all that. One doesn't hold it for oneself, thinking, oh, I'm getting all these marks, good marks in my merit book. One shares, one is willing to share everything with others, and the body with others. Rinpoche, in his Lama Zopa Rinpoche, in his commentary on the Bodhisattva practice, it's in the book here and also in the short leaflet, short booklet called Bodhisattva Attitude. He says his own teacher, Trijang Rinpoche, who was a junior tutor of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he recommended when you imagine offering your body to others, you don't just imagine offering your ordinary body, because your ordinary body is kind of, yeah, okay, it's kind of maybe quite a nice body, but you know, what can your body do? You know, it's kind of, you cut it open and no one wants to look at it. So one's own body isn't so fantastic to offer to others, but what you can do, he said, is visualize your body as a wish-granting gem, as this wish-fulfilling gem. Imagine your body is like this kind of gem. Anything anybody wants, they can get from transformed into a wish-granting gem. And of course, there will be illustrations of what a wish-granting gem is supposed to look like, but who knows what it looked like. We can just imagine our body being everything. One of the meditations Rinpoche recommended, and which we have to start putting into practice at our school in Bodhgaya, is one where he, kind of simple and I think enjoyable for children, maybe harder for us adults who've become more kind of reasonable and conditioned. But for children, it's probably quite fun. You imagine your body is transforming into whatever other people need. So your body is transforming into teddy bears, into toys, is transforming into medicine, it's transforming into whatever you know your friends would like. It's maybe transforming into footballs, it's transforming into delicious food and drink. This is what one's body is becoming, you know? It's transforming into whatever other people need. And you might think, oh, this is a kind of childish and this is weird. But it is said, if we do this enough, one can actually then have the ability, the karmic ability to actually benefit others in so many ways with exactly those things. One is able, it doesn't mean you can definitely have the power to transform your body into those things, but it means karmically then you would be someone who, for example, I'll give you an example. Some people are asked to raise money for centers or for, say, a library or a school or, you know, whatever. And they find it so difficult to do. There are many difficulties, many obstacles. They can't do it. Some people are asked to help like this. They're able to get this. They're able to get that. They're able to get other people to help. They're able to get all sorts of things that are needed for the task. So that we would say is a karmic result of having this attitude of wanting to transform your body into whatever other people need. Jo bhi hai, whatever they need. They need a friend, you become a friend. They need chocolate, you become. They need educational materials, they need books, they need whatever. They need money, they need medicine, they need hospitals. Whatever they need, may I be like that. May I be a guide for them, as Shantideva, the great Indian Bodhisattva, says in his text. May I be whatever people need, a guide, a lamp, a road, a boat. May I be a servant. May I even become bedding for those who need soft, comfortable bedding. May I become that for others. So you may say, that's stupid. You know, how can you become a Dunlopilla or whatever it is, you know? How can you become like that? How can you become a Lego set for children who want to play with Legos? But the point is, you're creating the cause. Karma is very subtle, apparently, very subtle and very powerful and very definite. So if we think this way, it is said, we do then have developed a power to be able to help others. Definitely. How was Buddha so successful in benefiting so many people, in reaching so many people, and let alone getting enlightened? It's because it didn't happen just like this, in one lifetime. From the Mahayana's perspective, he had been practicing for thousands of lifetimes, aspiring to help others, practicing generosity, practicing courageous effort, joyous effort, again and again and again, sacrificing his life, his possessions, everything, offering everything to others, again and again and again, aspiring to do so. When you can't do so, you aspire to do so. What I have found useful sometimes, at least when I don't give anything to anyone or can't for some reason, I just think, may I help you in the future? May I be able to offer you what you really need in the future? Not just 5 rupees or something stingy like that. May I offer you something far greater in the future? If we connect in a future life, may I be able to offer you much more? May I be able to offer you advice or teachings even that will benefit you long term? One can think like this. You can think like this at the traffic lights. When you think, oh, I didn't give this person anything. You can wish, you can pray that you can help people more in the future. And there are, of course, some people who do extraordinary things. Sometimes I wonder, how did the Sikh community generate such karma to help others so much through their gurdwaras, through their langars, through their offering food and so forth to others on such a wide scale. You haven't experienced this, it's amazing. If you go to not just Amritsar, but to, I think, many gurdwaras, you can get fed, How did they, and it's a great communal effort. They have such joy in doing it, it seems. How does that happen? You build up that collective will, aspiration, the wish to benefit, the wish to offer to others. So this is, the giving of goods, the giving of food and drink, which is of course essential. But not only that, we give our body and we give our virtue. So of course, virtue or punya or merit, not a very common word nowadays, especially with more humanistically inclined people who think they're not religious or don't want to be religious or spiritual even. They feel, merit is a dirty word. Punya is for, then you think of punya, you think of pap or sin. And we don't want to touch that. It sounds like old-fashioned religion. But punya is something very definite it's like a mental power, some kind of very subtle but powerful entity that we can develop within our minds, which then is like a reservoir of energy which helps us to benefit others. And of course, because we can't see it, in our modern scientific age, we doubt that it can exist. Because unfortunately, we're living in an age where many people feel that if it cannot be looked at with scientific instruments, then it doesn't exist. So of course, that means the mind doesn't exist in the way that the Buddhists think it does. It's basically just something which is a combination, which is a result of electromagnetic or, neural impulses in the brain. It's basically a byproduct of the brain, the mind, according to modern science, because they can't see anything beyond those things with their instruments. Whereas Buddhists and others, for at least 2.5 millennia, have been investigating mind through contemplative methods, through contemplative insight, through going deeply within. Our technologies are amazing in going outwards. By and large, they go outwards. And of course, they go billions of light years away and show us pictures of some galaxies, some unimaginable distance away. And they show us many other things on the outside, but they cannot show us our mind. They cannot show us how the mind works at the inner level. They cannot show us other beings in the universe who may be there, according to the Buddha, who also need help. Hungry ghosts, hell beings, gods and demigods. They also need our help, according to Lord Buddha. They're also suffering in many ways, But science can't see them, so science says doesn't exist. So punya, we were saying punya is something we cannot see with scientific instruments. It's a power, though, that is a reservoir of energy we can build up. So here we are saying the bodhisattva wants to also share that with others. We're not going to keep that for oneself. We're going to share one's spiritual energy or that power with other beings. One is willing to do that. One doesn't want to hold on to it. Nothing is considered mine anymore. How could that be? Well, here we need to talk more about wisdom, and that's not mainly the purpose of this talk. And I'll stop talking soon because we should have some interaction, and time goes very fast. Have you noticed time goes very fast when you're talking yourself? When you send a voice message, 3 minutes is like nothing. When you have to listen to someone else's voice message for 1 or 2 minutes, say, why are they talking so much? So I'm sorry.
Yeah, transcripts now. You press a button, then transcribes the message, so you don't have to listen to it anymore.
Really?
Yes.
Bravo, bravo. Brave new world. Wonderful. Anyway, where was I? Punya, merit, positive energy. You share that. You share everything. You don't let go. You don't let anything go by, because nothing is mine. Why is nothing mine? Because there is no independent I, me, mine. There is no solid Kabir. There is no solid me, although that seems that way. I've been conditioned by my own mind and others to think there's a very real person here who likes sweets, who can't hear properly or even see properly or even think properly nowadays very much, sometimes. Okay, we think there's a real person here called Kabir, but according to Buddhism, if we investigate, there is no real Kabir. There's something we call Kabir on the basis of body-mind combination, what we call the 5 aggregates, Panchaskandha. There is something there. We can call it what you like, Kabir or Nico or Sujit or Nivita or Apurva or whatever, but there is no independent, standing alone entity called Kabir, which is me. So this is something, of course, to be investigated, but it's probably something all of us have experienced a little bit when we are totally paying attention to something that we enjoy or is awe-inspiring, and for a few seconds or split seconds we maybe are no longer controlled by a sense of I, me, mine. We are not centralizing back into oneself at that moment. One is totally absorbed in something beautiful or in some act of care or giving or love or whatever, and one is not anymore I, me, mine. One has let go of that. Often drugs or music, rock and roll can bring on this in a small way. Or even being a football supporter. In the crowd, you're chanting and your team is winning, and you have this wonderful sense of oneness with all of your supporters. Of course, later you want to beat up the opposition supporters, but for a while you feel, a oneness, and you've forgotten your little me, and you've become a kind of part of the cosmos, yeah? All is one, man, like that, So Buddhism is saying actually the I, the me we really believe in is hallucination. It's a hallucination. It doesn't exist the way we think it does. So imagine we didn't have that strong sense of me or mine. Wouldn't giving be a lot easier when you don't feel that I don't have to put it in my pocket because I want to eat it, I don't want to share it with others, because if I share it, what will be left for me? If I don't have that strong sense of me, then it's obvious that we could share anything. One great lama who taught, amazingly, who taught at Root Institute for several months, over 2 years, Kirti Sensal Rinpoche, he was also a teacher who gave teachings to His Holiness, and he'd spent 20 or 30 years in meditation retreat. He said, for a high-level person who's really aspiring towards enlightenment and has already really traversed towards that goal, a bodhisattva, a true bodhisattva who has this bodhicitta mind we spoke of. For that person to give your body, at that stage, to give your body, your whole body to others, literally, is as easy, is as inconsequential as a leaf falling from a tree. Matlab, it's so easy. You can give anything at that stage. Right now, we can't give anything. I wouldn't want to give even my part of my little finger. Yeah, say just this part of my small finger. I don't know which finger is used the least, but whatever. I wouldn't want to give even that much to any of you whom I consider my good friends. I wouldn't want to give even this to you. And for a bodhisattva, you give your whole body. Those who want some inspirational literature can read, I think, chapter 21 or something, or no, whatever. Towards the end of the Sutra of Golden Light is a section where the young prince, Mahasattva, decides to give his body to a very starving tigress in the jungle. You know, and his thought process before he gives his body is very interesting. He says, what have I done with my body up to now in all my lives? I've cherished this body, fed it, massaged it, done all these things. What does it do in the end? It just, you know, betrays me. It dies. It gets old, it dies. Again and again this has happened with my body. I have not been able to use it that creatively or positively for others. Now I have this occasion where I can give my body to this starving tigress who has 5 cubs who are also starving because they're not getting any milk from the mother. So now I can do something useful with my body. I can give up my body for this starving animal. And it will be something that may be beneficial to just let go, give it up. Just give it up. So then the young prince lies down next to the tigress. But she's too weak. She can't even kill him. She can't do anything. So then he has to look for a sharp object to cut his own throat. So he finds an old piece of very tough, sharp bamboo and falls down next to the tigress, and she licks him up, licks the blood, gets stronger, then crunches him up. When his 2 brothers turn up later, all they find are some bones and some clothes scattered around. But he dies happy. He dies happy. He's been able to give his body to others. But we shouldn't do that yet. We shouldn't look for some hungry tigress or dog somewhere in Sanjeevan or wherever. We should, it's first, some lamas say, if you really have a problem with miserliness, then you practice giving from your right hand to your left hand. So you have some chapati, oh, this is mine. Okay, give it to your left hand. And like that, they say. That's the beginning. You're trying something. Your right hand feels it's mine, you give it to your left hand. If you're left-handed, by some awful coincidence, then you give it to your right hand, okay? If you're some ignorant foreigner, you take it with your left hand and you give it to your right hand. Yeah, you cannot. So, baएं हाथ का खेल है. So anyway, giving, generosity, extraordinary. But yeah, we should start with the aspiration because of the kindness of others. When you think sometimes, okay, when you think about someone who is kind to you in your life, I mean, really, it comes down usually to the mother or sometimes father or grandmother. I mean, they spend not just a few minutes or hours looking after you. They spend days, months, years. Can we imagine? I can't imagine it, actually. I mean, I can imagine it, but it's very difficult. The way, for example, my brother and his wife brought up their 2 sons. I can't imagine the care, the worry, the effort, the loss of sleep, continuing to worry about them. Recently, my brother and my bhatija, my nephew, came to Bodhgaya, right? And only this time I realized the bond between father and son. Because, of course, I grew up with my brother. So he was, but now I realize there's an incredible connection between father and son. And I felt a bit left out, And I see how much kindness, how much care, how much attention the father still gives to the son, because, they hadn't seen each other for some months. And my brother, because he lives in Israel, his son had to serve in the army, not with a gun, thank goodness, but anyway, served in the war machine, and was able to, then served in the army enough, and he had been on holiday for 3 or 4 months in Vietnam, Southeast Asia, Andaman Islands, and we all met up in Delhi and then went to Bodhgaya. And I realized, wow. And I was with that same boy when he was 8 days old in Jerusalem, when he'd just been born. I was passing through Israel. And then you see, to have that small being in your hands, and you look after that being for 20 years, of course you're going to be close, but what I'm saying here is how much Omrid, my nephew, how much seva, how much kindness, care he received from his parents. How much we receive from them is for me unimaginable, because I'm not a father. So it's very hard to imagine the time and effort people give to each other. And imagine if you're a mother or father of 5, 6, 7 children, unbelievable. I think it's just extraordinary. So just on that level, the kindness we receive from others, and then sometimes we meet people who help us so much, it's unreal. You don't know. From Buddhist perspective, we have some theories about it, but it's still amazing. It's really extraordinary how much people help each other, right? So when we think about that enough, then it can become a little bit difficult to be, at least difficult to be very selfish then. When you remember the kindness of others, you can still be a little bit selfish, but to be very selfish is difficult when you remember how much you receive from other people. But of course, we are still selfish. I'm still selfish because of the habit. Habit is very powerful in us, right? So you could have people help you so much, but then your habit could be more, give me more, You don't see their kindness, you just want more because of the poverty mentality. I was like that as a child. I remember, however much my parents gave me, I always wanted more. More toys, more this, more that. So that's a kind of poverty mentality, which many of us have, and maybe modern society has it to some extent. We don't feel good enough, we want more. Yeah. So then if we're always wanting more, then we feel, I don't have anything to give. I just need for me. So that becomes an issue. That becomes a problem. Have we got time to talk about perseverance? Maybe I can quote Tsongkhapa anyway, just so we have the blessing of his speech. And then we have some discussion. What's the time, sir?
15 to 8.
Huh? 15 to 8. So we've only been going an hour and a quarter, right? Tibetan lamas go on for 3-4 hours, yeah. So anyway, have all night, yeah. We have food, we have drink. There's a bar down the road, no problem. Yeah. Okay, no discos. All right. So then he speaks about enthusiasm, what we're talking about, joyous effort. Okay. I'm skipping a few verses, of course. I'm skipping the verse on ethical discipline, which is the next perfection after generosity. And then patience is after that. After patience, we come to enthusiasm. And all of these need to be looked at and studied. And Tushita will help you with the literature if you don't know what to read. Nico and others here will help you with the books that will talk to you about patience and everything. So he says, if you put on the armor of unshakably firm enthusiasm, then your qualities of knowledge and realization will wax or grow like the moon. All your activities will become meaningful. Once undertaken, any action will be completed as you wish. Knowing this, the conqueror's sons, so this means the bodhisattvas, the conqueror, the Buddha's sons and daughters, deploy great enthusiasm, which gets rid of every kind of laziness. I, the yogi, have practiced in this way. You who aspire to liberation, please do the same. Okay, so there's a lot here. they're saying if you have this, and what is Shantideva, the great bodhisattva, whose text you'll find here in the library, Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, what does he say? Simply is enthusiasm or joyous effort is having great pleasure, having delight in doing what is virtuous, having delight in doing and engaging in that which is wholesome. That is enthusiasm, which is the opposite of what we do, because I spend a lot of time doing useless things, not so useful things. But he's saying that dharmic enthusiasm, spiritual here, the enthusiasm or joyous effort of the bodhisattva is engaging, having joy, delight in engaging in that which is virtuous, that which is wholesome, that which is leading to happiness. Yeah. So if he's saying, if you develop that, your knowledge and realization will grow. What's the difference between knowledge and realization? You could have a lot of knowledge by remembering a lot of things, watching a lot of, movies or WhatsApp messages and, Google. You could, know a lot of things. You could be getting very good marks in the general knowledge papers that a lot of poor Indian students have to cram their minds with, but it wouldn't lead to what is being called realization. Realization means here, for example, realizing you're going to die. And on the basis of that deep realization, finding it very difficult to then waste any time in our life. If one really had the realization of death, that one could die any time, one wouldn't waste time. That's the realization. When it's a gut level, deep understanding of something, that's realization. So he's saying that comes with joyous effort. Your knowledge and your realization of things will grow. It won't just be intellectual knowledge, which you can show off with, but it will be something very deep, which transforms your life. It'll be kind of like, I'm just remembering so I don't forget later, there's a wonderful quote from Milarepa. He says, throw to the winds, toss to the winds your concern for this life, and bring to your mind the unknown time of your death. Remembering the pain of samsara, why do you long for the unnecessary? So matlab, realization is getting to grips with what is necessary. Understanding of death, understanding of karma, understanding of suffering, understanding of the preciousness of this human life. These are all very necessary things to think about and to realize. So Tsongkhapa is saying that if we had enthusiasm, we can develop these realizations. All our activities will become meaningful. I'm just thinking of my teacher, Lama Zopa Rinpoche and Lama Yeshe. I can't think of anything that they did which was not meaningful for others. Nothing they did was just stupid or meaningless, or just every remark, every joke they made had something which was beneficial for others. Everything. I can't remember anything meaningless that they said or did. And of course, Rinpoche was someone who didn't sleep at night. He meditated, he prayed, he'd taken a vow not to lie down, and he didn't lie down. I never saw him lying down. Once, maybe like this, when he was exhausted and very sick, he was kind of semi-lying down, but I'd never see him outstretched. He'd taken, some teachers or some people take this vow, ascetic vow, not to lie down. And that is, you could say, because they're trying to oppose laziness, which comes later in this verse, because enthusiasm is the great destroyer of the three kinds of laziness. Yeah. Anybody remember the three kinds of laziness? Those who have studied so much? Nicola? You remember.
Is the laziness of procrastination?
Procrastination, yeah. I'm an expert in that one. Procrastination.
Then there's the laziness of, putting ourselves down, thinking we are not able. Putting ourselves down, yes, yes. And the third one is being distracted with worldly things. Being distracted with worldly activities, yeah, the kind of meaningless activities. Being very, very busy washing things again and again, making sure your balcony is free of dust, knowing full well it'll be dusty tomorrow as well. And then again, spending a lot of time dusting your balcony, maybe, I don't know, taking care of your body so much that people think you've passed out in the bathroom or something.
So, you know, stuff like that. One has to say that, yeah, you have to take care of your body, but not so much, you know. So like that, we need to disengage from a lot of meaningless activities and engage in activities that are benefiting others. So if necessary, then you quickly do what you need to do in the morning. If you're a teacher, then you have to get to school, you know, and then you have to help the students and the teachers and everyone. You can't, you might want to spend ages doing something or other, but you realize, no, I have a responsibility towards this or that, and then fulfilling your responsibility. The one you mentioned about, you know, despising, or how did you put it? Not feeling good about yourself? Not feeling able to do. So this is called the Dharma of, you know, the laziness of, you know, being dispirited, thinking, I can't do this. Other people can do it. Buddha could do it. I can't do it. You know, I'm a 21st century person. I can't do this. I'm in a different era. I can't do this. I'm too busy. I'm too blah, blah. I'm too this, that, and the other. I didn't have a good childhood, so I can't do this. So this is all the kind of laziness which needs to be dispelled by joyous effort, enthusiasm. And it all comes down to realizing, I think, that we all have the basic goodness. We all have basic wealth. We have this mind, this amazing mind with its potential. And we have the benefit of the teachings. We have the benefit of great teachers. We have this human body. We have no excuse not to progress on the spiritual path, you know. So knowing this, the bodhisattvas deploy great enthusiasm, which gets rid of every kind of laziness. So the laziness of procrastination. So here one has to make a confession. I always like making confessions in public, because then people think, oh, he's so great, you know, he confesses in public. He must be such a honest, kind, great person. So I'm going to say it, you know, to increase my reputation. I have very kind friends. They got together and bought me a Samsung. I can't remember what its name is, but anyway, it's a nice Samsung phone, which I didn't bring to Tushita. I kept it carefully at home. And then not only did they buy me that for my 69th birthday, which was recent, but they also helped me to transfer the data from my old Redmi 4 to the Samsung, okay? But we couldn't transfer all of the WhatsApp material. Didn't transfer any of it because we needed certain information, some of which I'd forgotten, of course, because I forget passwords and this and that. Those things are irksome to me, unfortunately. So right from that time of my birthday over a month ago to today, we have not transferred the data from one phone to another. So I carry two phones around with me most of the time, one for ordinary calls and one for WhatsApp. This is procrastination. Not of a very dangerous kind. This is not so dangerous. Of course, you mean you have to take care of two mobiles instead of one. And I'm someone who keeps on, you know, saying bad things about technology. And here I am carrying two smartphones around. So I'm a hypocrite, which, of course, that's another thing one is good at. So this is part of the confession. So what am I saying? Procrastination. Some of my friends have given me very short, curt messages saying, get on with it, transfer the bloody stuff, you know, what are you doing? Excuse my French. You know, get on with it. But again, not doing, you know. One will get down to it, probably, or else I'll lose one of the phones and then it can't be done. I've lost other things in my life. I can also lose my phones. Anyway, the worst kind of course, procrastination is to say, oh, I'll practice tomorrow. Oh, Rinpoche gave me some practices to do. I'll do it next year when I'll probably have more time. And then next year one is even more busy. And then there's no time. And then it's time to die. And you have to do 6 or 7 months practice in 10 minutes. It's not going to happen, you know. And then you're dead. And it's not good to die without doing what your guru has told you to do, you know, to practice. So it's not just about what your guru told you to do. It's about what we have to do. We have to generate the causes of happiness and the causes to be able to help others. And if we're wasting our time doing other things and keep on saying, no, tomorrow, 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 then this is not a skillful way to live. And if one has taken certain vows to help others, then it's breaking one's vows, actually, because you have vowed to help other people as much as you can. So if you are delaying your own spiritual development, you're also betraying your trust. You are giving up on others. You're not able to then fulfill your responsibility towards other people. So joyous effort cuts through all this, and you see people, I won't name names, but you see people working for others. They just keep on doing what they have to do. And I'm not just talking about spiritual guides or teachers. Of course, we see it in His Holiness and others. Even at their advanced age, they are constantly doing what they can for others. There are countless other people who are so energetically working for other people, very, very careful not to waste time. I really admire people who not only have a family, but they're also engaging in beneficial work. They may have parents, grandparents, children, whatever. They're doing that and they're working for others. I really admire such people. One has to rejoice in such people. And as they say, when one rejoices, one should also aspire. May I be like them. May I be able to do what they do. So we aspire also, may I be like the Buddha. May I be like my teacher. And of course, it's not unrealistic because we have the potential to be like them. We may think it's very foolish and ambitious and arrogant to say, oh, may I become like the Dalai Lama. But according to Buddhism, we can all become similar or like the Dalai Lama in the sense of become a Buddha. Whether we can benefit beings as much as His Holiness has done on this planet, that's another thing. That's connected with a lot of prayers and karma and so forth. But we can all become Buddhas. We can all become totally enlightened people because we have a mind, you know. So with joyous effort, we can begin to go in the right direction. Yeah, if we don't have joyous effort, then there's all these three kinds of laziness, of delaying, of getting very involved, very busy with mundane worldly work, and then one of the worst ones also, feeling I can't do it. Mere bas ka nahi hai. I'm an ordinary person, sorry, only these great people can do it, so I have the excuse not even to try. So this is not good. We all have the potential. We all must try. And of course, any of us who are engaged in helping with a Dharma center like Tushita or any center, we should feel very privileged, actually. We should feel, okay, in this world which is so caught up in gain and loss and pleasure and pain and having a good reputation, trying to avoid a bad reputation, all of that stuff, you know, where has it led us? Where is our world right now? What has been the result of our certain kind of outer progress and the way we are living? What do we see in the world? Do we see people who can sleep better, who are happier? Do we see an environment which is improving? Do we see less conflict in the world? Do we see less disease? People helping each other more? No, we don't see these things. So something is not working, all right? If we check clearly. So then, how can we remedy that situation? One way is to help with a center like Tushita, because here you can receive the wisdom, the great wisdom of Buddhism, you know, as it has been carried down and practiced by people over 2,500 years. One can develop a community of people who are dedicated to understanding, listening and understanding and meditating on the teachings, like you did yesterday. I believe there was a session. How many people came?
7.
That's good. And it was online as well. It was hybrid. 15. So that's great. 15, 20, 22 people got some imprint yesterday of the need to investigate, to meditate, to discuss something meaningful. So every day, virtually, a center like this is creating the cause for people to nurture the seed of awakening, of really getting to know what is going to be actually beneficial for our life, how to be a good human being, and not only that, how to plant some seeds of compassion, wisdom. Our own teacher was very, very emphatic. He said, if someone comes to the center and even sees, looks at some of these statues and pictures, or if they come and see a monk or nun at the center, for example, then that leaves such a good, powerful imprint on their minds. And if they come here and they also receive, get some kindness and some, happy, friendly greeting from someone working at the center, whoever they are, some help, some kind words, a friendliness, then they benefit so much. Because out there, people are in a hurry. People are really quite, upset and angry with their lives, frustrated, and they're all in a big hurry. Yeah, when you go home today, you'll see it's hard not to get, run over by a motorcycle or car, which is in a hurry to get somewhere. Poor things. Yeah, I feel for them having to go long distances in traffic. So here at this center, you can slow down and pay attention to something beneficial. So I would really ask people who are involved with Dharma centers like Tushita to consider how fortunate we are. How fortunate we are to help with this center, which was started by great beings. I don't just mean the kind people, the Westerners actually, who started the center in the late 70s, but the teachers, our teachers, Lama Yeshe and Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and of course inspired by His Holiness Dalai Lama. They started the center. They were great beings. They were beings who spent every moment of their lives helping others. I tell you, really. This I can say from my experience, having met both of them. So if we have the opportunity to work or help a center like this, that's amazing. We should not give up on that, and we should put a lot of effort into it, and even go that extra way to help and to realize that, okay, we can make money working on our laptops from home. We can do all these things, but to work together with other people, person to person, in a center like this is a great opportunity. And to meet up, of course, a lot of you, there are more people here on Zoom than it's about equal today. I don't know how many are on Zoom. I don't know how to 27 participants, kind people still with us on Zoom. And yeah, not 27 here at Tushita, but a good number, at least 20 probably. So, coming to the center, helping the center, or helping the center by attending the programs on Zoom, even showing your faces occasionally on Zoom. This is something amazing, because let's face it, some of you whose names are there, you may not be there at all, right? You could be there in the toilet, you could have gone for a walk, you could have your name up there just for, why not, Some of you look like sunsets or sunrises, very beautiful. Some of you look like Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Some of you look like, I don't know what. Oh, I just looked at myself. I don't know. Sorry. That's not so great to look at. I was quite good looking when I came back to India, by the way. In 1983, I was quite good looking. I was 27 then. Okay, let's have discussions. Vishal. Huh? Thank you for those who are watching. Urmila, is that Urmila from Mumbai? Could you show your face, please? Then I'll answer your question. Or whatever. Bataiye. Urmila ji. No. Do you have to do something? Yeah. What?
Kabir Ji. No, Kabir Ji, I just wanted to say I'm very much paying attention. I just am not showing my face, that's all.
Why is that? What happened to your face?
Nothing. I'm just comfortable sitting in my pajamas, that's all. Thank you so much. I enjoy all the talks. I listen to all the old talks as well. And I love the funny way in which you... No, it's not gupshup. It's just lovely the way you present the Dharma with
you should have been here in person. We had lovely tea and cakes and homemade sandwiches before. So,
thank you so much. I really enjoy all the sessions.
Okay, thank you. But remember, one doesn't live by Zoom alone. Sometimes you must come to Tushita and look at us. Yeah.
For sure. Thank
you. And meet the wonderful people working here at Tushita.
All lovely young
And,
people, wonderful young people. Thank you. Wonderful.
And leave your comfortable South Mumbai and come and help in Delhi for a few weeks. That will be good.
Sure.
Tabhi na maza aayega. Come and meet your Delhi brethren. Yeah.
Thank you. I will.
Thanks, Urmila ji. Thank you. Appreciate. But I'm sorry you didn't show your face because it's so lovely. Yeah, let's have some feedback, something. Yeah. If nothing, then fine. Yeah, I'm sure I've covered everything.
Yesterday she showed her face, Kabir Ji.
Ji?
Yesterday, Urmila, she showed her face.
You showed your face yesterday and not today. So this, yeah, take nahi hai.
And we are 25. I think we are winning here. Because Richard is also online. So it's only 26 online.
The real hybrid.
I think we are winning. A person is winning.
We're winning, yeah, because I'm here and Rinpoche is here and Vishad is here. So, yeah.
Kabir Ji, Lavanya wants to.
Oh, Lavanya ji. Yes, yeah. Sorry, Lavanya. And thanks for showing your face. Yeah.
Yes, I'm here, Kabir Ji, 100%. I just want to know the name of the book that you were referring to.
Well, this is an unusual book. It's not easy to get. It's an anthology of the different Lamrim texts, which was brought out by a center in France, students of Dagpo Rinpoche. He was a great Lama, Dagpo Rinpoche.
Okay.
It had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Lamrims in this book, including the lines of experience. This will be difficult to get. You have to
anything
order
similar
it
would you recommend? Anything similar would you recommend?
I had meant to quote from this, but it was too much. It's very thick. The great commentary on this is a commentary by Geshe Lundup Sopa on Lama Tsongkhapa's great treatise on the stages of the path to enlightenment. Yeah. So this is a great commentary based on Tsongkhapa's larger stages of the path text. And it has very long, wonderful chapters on generosity and enthusiastic perseverance. And it's here in the Tushita library. And I brought it all the way from Bodhgaya, but I'm not using it. But it's there as a kind of, it's like my teddy bear, my dharmic teddy bear. Yeah, it's good to have around. Yeah, but I quoted from the Pearl Garland because it has all these short lamrims. It's got all of the major lamrims in the Gelugpa tradition, 8 of them, including Atisha's text and the 3 principles of the path, these famous texts by Tsongkhapa. Yeah. But you won't get it easily. It's some center in France, which I'd never heard of, in a place I'd never heard of even. But it's printed in India. I think it was printed specially for some teachings that His Holiness gave in South India back in 2012 or 13, when His Holiness was giving Jamshul Lamrim.
Kabir Ji, I can check if it's available. I'm a student of Dagpo Rinpoche.
No, there it is. Yes.
I can check if it's available in Bangalore Dharma Center.
Okay.
I can check. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, and then we'll tell Lavanya later. Yeah, but yeah, that text can be found elsewhere also in other places. Sir, there's somebody here. Sir, you wanted to ask something?
Yes, Kabir Ji, thanks for the talk. I just wanted to ask that about this bodhicitta mind, that when we do this joyous effort, benevolence, actions, and so many other things to help others, and with so much enthusiasm, there is a chance that is there a chance that we can get distracted too much into the helping others, and the inner reflection might get less time, and the emptiness things, which realization of emptiness of phenomenon, which needs some kind of introvert actions. So how do we balance these two aspects of this?
Well, traditionally and recently I had the good fortune to have to study some of the basic teachings of the Buddha in his teachings on the 4 foundations of mindfulness. where the student starts by looking at the body, investigating body, the feelings, mental factors, and phenomena in general, which includes many dharmic phenomena and teachings. So in that, it's so clear that the Buddha starts in the foundational teachings by asking us to understand who we are, begin to understand our body, make friends with our body, understand it, make friends with our mind. Because initially, as one person said, you know, my mind is like a bad neighborhood. I don't like to go there alone, he said. It's a very witty, nice statement. So here the Buddha is saying how to begin to understand ourselves, which is another way I feel is saying how to make friends with yourself, how to be comfortable with yourself, how to understand yourself, whatever you are, you know, the difficult aspects of the mind, the positive, whatever, but begin to understand who you are. Stop going outside all the time and go inside. That's what it seems to be saying, right? So yeah, it has to start with, a tree can't be giving beautiful branches and flowers and fruit if it doesn't have good roots in the ground. It will just fall over, you know. So of course, in that sense, we need to work on ourselves. My brother used to love quoting to me a few words of the Buddha, which said something like, I examined all the four quarters of the universe, something like, I examined all the four quarters of the universe, and having seen all of this, I cannot find any being who does not want to be happy, and for whom it is not very important to first of all, develop love for themselves. I cannot feel any being who is in a sense not deserving of their love, of their self-love. So it's like if I really despise myself or hate myself or think I'm hopeless, I'm not sure how genuine helping others would be, actually. It would be a little artificial. It would be like quarreling and fighting and being so stupid at home, but when you go out the door, you are helping others and being nice and kind. And you come back home and you beat up your wife and husband and children. I mean, that doesn't sound right, you know. It's like you have to, charity begins at home, the British say, which seems quite wise. So of course, yeah, I mean, if we don't look after ourselves, we'll just get exhausted and upset. We'll get upset very quickly, actually. When people don't like us or say nasty things to us or don't thank us all the time, we'll get very upset if we haven't first made friends with ourselves and become strong and confident. That's why I was mentioning it at the beginning. The posture is about being self-confident and about opening up, but both together, and being grounded in our practice, in our posture. It's like, okay, whatever happens, I'm not going to be shaken. It's that kind of posture, right? And the Buddha apparently said something like that. Until I'm enlightened, I'm not going to get up. When he sat finally under the Bodhi tree, after his 6 years or 5 years of ascetic practice, he came to the Bodhi tree and he said, I'm not going to get up until it's like he had that confidence. And then he was an awakened being by morning. Of course, he'd been practicing for many lifetimes. Yeah, so in short, yes, if we take care of ourselves, we can benefit others. If we're sick and unhappy and, in every way, then how can we help other people? It will always be help only because we want to receive their praise or thank you or this or that all the time. We won't be able to help other people. It'll always be for me because I feel I'm not good enough, I haven't made friends with myself. And it's not easy to make friends with ourselves. I mean, we can experiment, try to go into a 5-day retreat only on your own, just on your own. Cut off your communication with the world, and you'll see how much we have made friends with ourselves. It will be very clear that it's quite difficult. The mind will play all kinds of games, and it won't be that easy. And some people, of course, can do retreat for 10, 20 years, 30 years, and it can be very beneficial for them. So yeah, we have to make friends. We have to be kind. So I asked one Lama once on behalf of a visiting group in Nepal. We asked, actually, Chekini Rinpoche, many years ago, please, Rinpoche, we don't have much time. Can you tell us what is meditation? He said, meditation is calm, clear, and kind. And that included to oneself. Yeah? You're calm. Even just becoming calm, that's being very kind to oneself, right? How often are we calm? So be calm, clear, let there be clarity and kindness. So wonderful. We said we're in a hurry. He said, take it, yeah. Calm, clear, kind. That's it. Very useful. It can be put different ways. But those are very important things we can generate, I think, if we spend some time, if we slow down. Calm, clear, kind. Be kind to yourself. You're also a human being, right? You want to be happy, right? I want to be happy. So that's why I was hiding the chocolate. But that was the wrong method. That was very short-term happiness, and ultimately it cuts you off from other people if you don't share your chocolate or whatever. So yeah, be kind and be clear about it and calm. आराम से हाय हाय नहीं कोई तमाशा नहीं होना चाहिए हमेशा आराम से This we often get wrong. We're uptight, and modern civilization is rather uptight, थोड़ा ऐसा ही है. We should आराम से, let go a little bit, not too much, but so yeah, take care of oneself, I would say. And of course, right now I'm talking to myself because I'm someone who has sometimes not taken enough good care of myself in a wise way. Unwise way, of course, many methods, but wise, yeah, that's a very important question, because otherwise we get very tired quickly and upset, and we can get then upset by very small things. We did this for someone, they didn't say thank you. It can make you so upset, and that's just stupid. It means you don't have a good relationship with yourself. If you have a good relationship with yourself, then you're happy to do anything good. You don't need other people to keep on saying thank you. You're already thanking yourself. You're already making yourself happy. You don't need people to give you certificates. Aapne ye kiya, aapne wo kiya. And then it could become very joyful. That's what I've seen in my teachers. They're so joyful, so happy. Whatever happens, they just do what has to be done, and they have such humor, such laughter. I never hear such laughter as I've heard from my teachers. They're totally khulke, because they're happy. Despite all the, pains of life and what they have to do, they're happy because, they've done the basic work and they've done a lot more. They developed bodhicitta, and they're very joyful. All the time they're joyful. It says in the teachings, when we develop this kind of mind, we're always joyful. There's always that energy, So the more we study and reflect on it, maybe the more interested we can get in these teachings. So that can be very useful.
Kabir Ji, there is another, somebody is requesting to ask a question. They think they have a question.
Oh, this is Urmila, and she is showing her face.
This is Raghav.
Raghav?
Yeah.
Where's Raghav?
He has camera on. Yeah.
Raghav? Oh. Oh, there. Oh, he's showing his. Raghav,
How are you,
bhai,
Kabir
yes.
Ji?
Where are you? In Goa, New York, or Bali?
I'm in New York, Kabir Ji. I'm in New
Very
York.
good. Very
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
I was just about to step into a meeting, but I've been listening to you for the last hour and a half, and it's been so
Good grief.
delightful, and it's been amazing.
Oh, yes.
I have a quick question to ask you.
Haji,
Kabir Ji, I'm nowhere close to giving my body to a tigress or, that level of generosity. But I must also say that I have to navigate between being stuck to the self which is, I'm in New York, which is samsara on steroids. It's where you take the ambition and your own ambition to succeed and to create and to build and to be completely type A. And that's, I think, a lot to do with the self. to take it to the highest limit. So like, let's just say if I have an aspiration of really becoming the best there is in my profession, but also I have an aspiration to benefit as many beings as I can. And let's just say that, yes, once I get to that level, I would like to benefit people as much as I can. And while I get there during the journey, also do whatever it is that I can do. But how do you navigate between having an Ashoka-like vision of becoming Ashoka, but yet clinging to, what you've got to do, which is work towards that ambition. And that's a lot to do with the self. So this was my question. I don't know if I'm clear,
Well,
Kabir Ji.
you're kind of clear, yeah, as clear as you could be in New York, I guess. But Raghav, I have to say, without exaggerating and without just grandstanding or whatever the word is, I appreciate you very much because I see you as somebody who's always giving your body to others. The number of lovely people you have come to Tushita with over the years, I see that you are giving yourself to others again and again, and in your work and in your relationships. So I admire you for being that kind of person. I don't think you need any advice from me, quite frankly. You're someone who
No,
opens up to others very easily. So that's one.
Kabir Ji, the story with the Dharma is that we listen to the same thing 101 times, till it actually gets into your head. So your clarity is so phenomenal that when you give whether it's a teaching or whether it's, you're dismantling a beautiful quote, the way you do it is phenomenal. So I was just taking
yeah. Can you see the halo around my head today?
Of course.
It's shining very brightly. It's outshining the Buddha. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah.
It totally is. But I just wanted to also say thank you so much. And if you can shed some clarity on this, I would be grateful. And I'm going to leave the video, but I'm going to be listening to you because I'm stepping into a meeting, Kabir Ji.
And you'll still be listening to me? Wow.
Yes.
What kind of meeting is that?
I have to be present somewhere. And I don't necessarily have to. Yes, physically present. I don't necessarily have to talk. But it's going to start in like 6 minutes and I can talk later. And I know what to say. So it's all good.
Okay, very good, Raghav. No, you're a great inspiration, and we must go traveling together one day and do all these things.
I can't wait to do that with you.
Yeah. Thank you. I can visualize you here. I remember where you used to sit here at Tushita.
Yes, I visualized you too.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah, you can visualize me when I was younger. Yeah. Good.
You're still a very young man.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
You should see the likes of. You should see the likes of.
बस भाई अपने मीटिंग में जाओ ना यार.
You should see the likes.
क्यों समय बर्बाद कर रहा है?
I'm gonna speak. Kabir Ji, I'm gonna speak to you from from your generation. You should see the likes of Mick Jagger. They're still performing. They run 21 kilometers in one performance.
तो जाके मीटिंग में बैठ जा, ओके? बाद में बात करेंगे.
Okay, Kabir Ji, thank you so much.
पता नहीं क्या पी रहा है, खा रहा है आजकल. खैनी मत खाओ इतना. हाँ. Anyway, great to see you, man. Take care.
Good to see you too. Take care, Kabir Ji. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye. This is Raghav. He's helping with a travel group, and he travels all over the place. He also has a base in Defense Colony, I believe. Had a very amazing, anyway, I won't talk about him in front of him. He's still there listening in, but very amazing, courageous man, very courageous man. He's come through a lot in his life, and what he told me was amazing, what he's had to go through, and he came through very bravely. So I admire him for that. Yeah. To see great ho bhai. Yeah. She's gone now. Good. Okay, what's next? We can stop also because people might be tired and bored and time to go. Urmila, your hand's still up. Put your hand down if you have nothing to say. These Mumbai walas. Yeah, you're muted. Yeah. Is there anyone here who wants to say something?
Sorry, I don't know how to put my hand down. Sorry, please do it for me.
Okay, koi baat nahi.
There is a Baba who kept his arm up for like 55 years.
Yeah, there's a Baba who kept his hand up for 55 years. Wow, it must be.
Cannot move it down now. It's like
What did you want to ask?
Yes. Haji, anyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Kabir Ji, I and my friend came here for the first time.
Oh,
I just have a confusion regarding the practice because last night only I checked out this organization and I joined the WhatsApp group. I came here and we came here 10 minutes late, so I'm not aware about the procedure and the practice part. That how do we have to recite that we are kind for other people, we have to kind for other people, we have to recite it, or what exactly we have to do? Actually, in the past also, I have done sessions of Vipassana, but that is quite different from this. I think so. So I just want kind of a clarification on this. That what exactly we have to do for practice.
Well, of course, the easy way out to answer your question is to say, keep on coming to Tushita.
Please.
And it will become very clear to you what has to be done. But basically, you could say we need to calm the mind with some techniques, or say watching the breath and so forth. But even before that, we might want to generate a good motivation of kindness and wishing to help ourselves and others, remembering the kindness of other people. Did you arrive when we were talking about the kindness of others, or you missed that also?
Yes, I was here.
So that's a very important thing to reflect on in general. Once the Dalai Lama was asked, and he didn't have much time, so he said, look, I don't have much time right now, he had to go somewhere else. But he said, basically, 2 things you do in your life: remember the kindness of others and see everything like a dream. So remember the kindness of others and regard everything as like a dream, like a dream. So he's talking about both the compassion side and the wisdom side of the path to enlightenment. So yeah, when you come, first we'll be working with calming the mind, and then reflections, analytical analysis of certain things. We take things for granted, right? This human life, the fact that we're alive, we take it for granted. So those things we have to reflect on and think about death, think about the preciousness of life, think about suffering. We may not want to talk about it, or you may think I'm not suffering much, or we may think suffering is just what we can look at and see, but suffering is much deeper than that, according to the Buddha. So we have to reflect on these things. What is really suffering, or dukkha? Dukkha kya hai? What did Buddha mean by dukkha? So all these things we reflect on. And then, of course, this center attracts some very great teachers, monks, nuns, and others. So, and there's regular teachings here with Nicola and other people. You should attend those and begin to understand and study a little bit. They'll recommend some basic book if you're interested. And you can see how it fits together, because everything fits together very well. And you won't have time to read hundreds of volumes of Buddhist teachings, but we have short texts which give the essentials. And so they have to be reflected on and meditated on again and again, really, for optimum value. So that's how to proceed. But the very important is what we said at the beginning. When we sit, remember to develop this sense of confidence in yourself. We are basically good. Even though you may have done horrible things or said horrible things in your life, which we could all do, basically we're good, according to Buddha, because we have this quality of awareness, which may be hidden right now because of all the garbage going around in our mind, the tsunami of thoughts and fears and hopes and expectations. But that is superficial. Basically, we are good. We have basic goodness. This is very important to remember. So that means everyone is basically good, right? So then that also leads to, they say it can lead to more respect for other people, because you realize they're not just what they are showing at the moment, which may be not very nice. But inside, they're also basically good, basically Buddha, actually. So that is very useful. But then you can study more why we think that way, because in the beginning it might sound very strange or stupid to say that, because you may have not good experience with others. Other people may have cheated you, harmed you, abused you. So how are people basically good? You may want, so this is where analytical meditation helps. You analyze and you see how Buddha, the way he explains it, makes sense. We are basically good. We are not basically bad. So this is helpful. And then all the other meditations are very helpful. And then kindness of others can even bring tears to your eyes when you realize how much others have been kind to you. Then you want to help others, right? That's automatic. You want to help others when you see how much they sacrifice for us, again and again. And if you can feel for continuity of consciousness, life to life, then you feel they didn't just help me now, they helped me in the past, right? So, but then you might say, oh, that's difficult to understand. So again, for that, there are other meditations, other teachings, which can help us see the mind as not just something of this life in this body or this brain. It's much, much deeper and profound than just the brain. Brain, of course, is amazing, but consciousness is even more amazing in that sense. And it has no beginning and no ending, according to Buddha. No beginning, no ending to consciousness. So, of course, that's a mind-blowing statement. Again, we have to reflect on that. What do they mean? How could it be true? So all these things, in fact, Buddhism can make you very confused in the beginning, which is why you shouldn't do too much in the beginning. Study slowly. Do also calming meditation. Remember, calm, clear, kind. Develop kindness for yourself. And slowly, and keep on coming to the center. Help the center. Center is for the happiness of others, right? For your happiness and other people's. So come and help the center. That can also help your life. So that it's not just about office and or whatever, or making money, success. I mean, what is success? If you're not happy and in touch with your fellow human beings, what is the point of, success? So those things you can think more about. And my teacher, and I think his prayers were incredibly powerful. He said, Lama Zopa Rinpoche said, whoever even puts their feet in Tushita, comes in Tushita, may they be happy and generate understanding of the path to enlightenment, develop the seed of liberation. Our teacher prayed like that, and I think his prayers are very powerful. So we can also think like that. You come into Tushita, may it benefit me and others much more than I could even imagine right now. May it benefit me forever. And may I be able to open my heart and help others as much as I can, So, yeah, you should, I hope you found the session useful, at least gave you something to think about, and also gave you a sense that there are people in Delhi, you see, who are also interested in this. It's not just you, People may be rushing around like maniacs during the day, but there are still people who are not only looking at things online or reading good books or whatever, they are even coming to a center to practice and study and discuss together. So that's a wonderful thing. This is what Buddha called the Sangha. The Sangha. Very important to practice, study, reflect, drink chai and eat samosas together. This is important. We're human beings here. We're not yet robots. Abhi hone wala hai, AI to badh raha hai. So soon we won't know who is real, who is unreal. Lekin abhi tak we have a chance to be human. So take the opportunity. Even if you're working in AI, you can still be a human being, no? As long as possible. Where are you from, sir?
I'm from Dwarka, Delhi.
Huh?
Dwarka.
Dwarka?
Yeah.
You were born in Delhi?
I'm born in Delhi and my hometown is Himachal Pradesh.
Kaun jaga?
Solan.
Huh?
Solan.
Solan. Have you been to Dharamsala?
Yes.
To
4
McLeodganj?
occasions. Yeah.
Good. Jaiye kabhi. See, we have a center there. If you feel courageous, you can take a 10-day course at Tushita Dharamsala. Okay. That really gives you an immersion into the Buddhist path. Lectures, meditation, discussion, all within a very conducive campus. Yeah. Bandar bhi hain, bandar bhi dekhenge. Nice sunsets. You should go to Tushita Dharamsala and then come back and help Tushita Delhi. How about that? Yeah. Where's your friend who's come with you? Okay. Was it useful for you, sir?
Yes.
What do you do as a job?
Sir, I'm a practicing company secretary in Minister Gandhi.
Oh, and you, sir?
I'm a lawyer.
Lawyer. Wonderful. Great. Wonderful. You're real people. You're actually, you are representing what people do. So you should come. We have filmmakers, we have teachers, we have teacher trainers, we have students, we have professors from IIT, we have potters who are also in design. We have all kinds of people here. Economics teachers, we have translators, bibliophiles. Yeah. Bahut badhiya. So I'm very happy to meet all of you and very thankful to you, Nico, for allowing me to come and spend some time again. I'm very kind. What are you doing?
Yeah, I also wanted to say a word, Kabir Ji, because ever since you moved to Bodhgaya, I have requested you so many times to come and teach, whenever you visit Delhi.
It's just some sharing, yeah.
And so we are very grateful. And a few days back, I just realized that I requested you so many times and you always accepted and you always taught. And I never even gave you an envelope. So today I thought at least,
No. So, okay. So now, it's very kind. You had the thought and you are engaging in the action. So I would like you to use it to help.
Sure, but please accept it first.
I will accept it first. I will accept it first physically. It's so kind of you. And you please use it to generate some interest with the young people who need samosas and sweets when they come to the center.
So for sweets, this is for sweets.
Whatever you need, but spend some on the young people because they have to deal with climate crisis, authoritarianism, all kinds of things they have to deal with. So they need help. So use the money to help the young people to get a foothold in Tushita, so they can get some real benefit, just as Rinpoche wanted. If they get a connection with Rinpoche and the teachings, it could be very useful for them. I mean, it will be. So thank you very much. And
thank you so much.
For them. I was casting my eye on the kata, but you can keep that as well. We have them in Bodhgaya. So yeah, this visit here made my visit to Delhi meaningful. Otherwise, I was engaged with a lot of administration, which I don't enjoy so much, and some other things running around. So very happy to this very kind of you and everyone who has encouraged me to sometimes come and talk here. The friends from Dehradun who come here with cake and other things regularly. And today we had wonderful homemade sandwiches from Apurvaji and many other things. So this, you see, if you come to Tushita, our lawyer friend, you can get all sorts of, add-ons. आपको enlightenment का भी रास्ता दिखेगा और भी कुछ मिल सकता है. और एक professor है यहाँ, knowing professors is also very useful. They know the good eating places in the area. तो वो भी आप बहुत लाभ है यहाँ आने में. बहुत तरह के लाभ हैं. Many kinds of advantage. So don't let the opportunity go. Okay, everyone online, thank you so much. I think very kind people from even a Japanese person here and what looks like Vietnamese name. D, is that D from Bangalore? If it is, lovely. There's a T and there's an S. Lavanya, thanks for holding on there. There's a picture of part of a fridge, so I don't know what that means. It looks like part of a fridge, but it could be some modern building. Maybe New York, I don't know. Tejinder Ji, thank you for showing your face for so long. Urmila Ji, thank you. Yeah, good. So thank you, everyone. And we can dedicate, please dedicate for your own happiness. And all the people who are here at Tushita for the first time or who plan to come to Tushita, may they be so happy to come here and so inspired to see people who are helping and working at a center with such good intention, inspired by great teachers like His Holiness and our kind Lama Yeshe, our founder, and Lama Zopa Rinpoche, who guided us for so many years, and in my own case since 1979. So all of these great beings, may we follow in their footsteps. May we do what we can to help this world, which is suffering a great deal right now through a lot of ignorance and through a lot of speediness. a lot of misused energy, a lot of mistrust, a lot of lack of proper education. May we all pray that we may help with help to improve the quality and the whole purpose of education in this country and wherever. May all of us develop more compassion, more empathy, and more joy in working with others, real people, not just online, but also online. Yeah, may you get great joy from being online. Yeah, if you can't come here, develop joy wherever we are. It's one of the essential factors of the path. Without joy, we can't do anything very well. So we should be joyful to help others be joyful, because other people are often very sad, very lonely, very feeling their life is not very meaningful. So may we help them as much as we can. Many other things we can pray for. It can take a long time. Lama Zopa Rinpoche would spend sometimes half an hour with the dedication. We won't spend that long, but we will say one thing we can all say, whoever we are, may my life, may your life become meaningful for others. So whoever has any contact with you, even though you don't realize it, may it be benefiting them due to your good attitude, your kindness, your relaxed mind. May whoever sees you or hears you or even hears your name, may it be beneficial for that person, okay? So we can pray to be like that, and then it actually happens. It can happen. We can be much more beneficial for others and help them. Yeah. Then please, those who knew or know of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, please pray that he may also, at the right time, manifest again, and that we may have created the good karma to again develop and get great benefit from his life. And I haven't mentioned enough about Lama's life, Rinpoche's life. Maybe next time, how he offered his body several times in this life in a small way, but meaningful way, to us, to mosquitoes, to all manner of beings. Rinpoche would offer his body again and again, very happily. Yeah. So may we become like that. May we develop the confidence that we can become like that due to our basic goodness, the fact that we all have the